Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. When it comes to finding a good restaurant, a caring doctor, or maybe even a talented contractor, consumers have learned to rely on reviews.
But how legitimate are those reviews? And more importantly, can you really trust what they all say? The answer is no, because many of the reviews we read are fake, put on the internet to reel in new customers.
Today, we're talking with Kay Dean. She's a former federal investigator who currently has a YouTube channel called Fake Review Watch. She tells us how to spot fake reviews and what to do if you come across one.
This is On Your Side with Susan Campbell and Gary Harper, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Boy, what a storm we had last night.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, so you're just as far east of the valley as I am west of the valley. What kind of damage, if any?
You know what? It was so funny. Right at my house, we heard the rolling thunder all night long, but we didn't get hit really hard. 15 minutes away from my house, planes were flipped over at Falcon Field. So, I mean, it's just wild and kind of the luck of the draw where you lived if you got hit or, really hard.
And then you have the story I told earlier about my 40-pound fake owl used to scare birds away. That thing is gone. How does the wind take a 40-pound fake owl and just lift it up and just take it with it?
It had wings. It went. I want to know where you found a 40-pound owl to begin with.
Amazon. It's plastic, but you fill it full of sand, and then you put it on your wall or wherever you have problem birds, and it scares the birds away. At least it's supposed to.
I see what you did here. You mentioned Amazon because we're talking about reviews, and when people are shopping, that was a very nice segue. You're getting good at this.
See, listen. There is a method to my madness, at least sometimes, anyway. Yeah, we are talking about fake reviews, and I don't. Personally, it's my wife who does all the shopping on Amazon, and she's like, I think their number one customer. I've got doorbells ringing like
all day, every day.
All day, every day. I'm like, what did you buy now? But yeah, so she's the big purchaser off Amazon, and I'm sure she goes through the reviews. What's your etiquette with looking at reviews? Do you pay attention to them? Do you really rely on them?
I'll glance sometimes, but with a giant caveat that I take everything kind of with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on like brand recognition, really, because I feel like reviews are sometimes so off the wall or so specific that it doesn't really apply to my situation.
It seems like reviews, you're only going to write a review if you had a bad experience with either the service or the product. I mean, I don't feel like there are a lot of people who say, gosh, this product was just so great, I'm going to write a review on it. It's always the opposite, right? Like,
and it gives you a little bit of an idea. I mean, like sometimes for like kids' toys, if it's like a bigger one or like, a kid's wagon that we were shopping for, I'll read reviews and see like if there are 100 parents that were like, this is really hard to pull, then maybe that's not the wagon for me. But, so I'll do it for that kind of thing, but never clothes or stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it. We're talking to Kay Dean. She's a former federal criminal investigator, and she has a YouTube channel called Fake Review Watch. Hey, Kay, how are you today?
Hey, thanks for having me on today.
Hey, I love the Fake Review Watch. So this is really something that you have a lot of passion about with finding fake online reviews. Before we get into exactly what you do and how you spot them, just tell us, did you have a bad experience? Why did you all of a sudden decide to pursue fake online reviews?
I used online reviews about 5 years ago to find a medical provider here in California. And I ended up just having a bad experience, and it left me so suspicious about those reviews that I had relied on. And so I did a deep dive, and I uncovered that the online review space is just saturated with so much fakery. And so my personal experience spurred my larger investigation into this issue.
Yeah, being a formal criminal investigator, this probably was, I don't want to say easy, but a lot easier for you than maybe other people to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty to find out what's fake and what's legit.
I think so, yes.
So walk us through, how do you first target certain businesses or medical providers? What are you looking for? What catches your eye when you're trying to sift through all of the reviews?
That's That's a great question. And it really varies case by case, but quite often, if a business I have established is getting fake reviews, then all of their reviewers become suspect. And that quite often leads to other businesses that are getting fake reviews. Likewise, if I know a profile is leaving fake reviews, then I can check all their reviews, which leads me to other businesses. So it's connecting the dots, link analysis, pretty rudimentary link analysis in some cases. It really varies by case.
Let's say you're looking for a great dentist or a great orthodontist, and you come across reviews that are just, this dentist is the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, how do you get down to what's the red flags that say, I'm a fake review, don't trust me?
That's such a great question. And you really just can't look at a review in isolation and determine that it's fake. I mean, there might be some indicators, but you really have to look at a sampling of reviews, reviewers, and businesses together to start to see abnormal patterns among the reviewers, suspicious patterns. For example, did those reviewers review the same dentist in Arizona and the same contractor in New York? I mean, you start to see these suspicious patterns that surface. But it's very difficult. Most consumers aren't going to put the time in to get a spreadsheet out and start analyzing this. They're putting this blind trust into the tech companies' review platforms that their algorithms are doing it for them. And I can tell you, based on my research over and over again, they are doing a lousy job at providing reliable information to consumers.
So are companies buying these fake reviews?
Yes, they are easily purchased on social media. You can join Facebook groups and procure fake reviews very easily and inexpensively.
Well, how is that done? I'm just wondering. I mean, if I own a restaurant and I want to be the best food in the city, and maybe I'm not, but I want to get the word out there. I mean, what do I do? Who do I pay? How does that happen?
That would depend. I guess if you don't want to pay your marketer, you could just join a number of Facebook groups that operate openly and flagrantly all over Facebook, which I have documented on my YouTube channel, Fake Review Watch, and start interacting with review brokers who are selling reviews openly and flagrantly on social media. There's a tremendous amount of review fraud being facilitated on social media. So you could do that and get instant reviews like that very inexpensively. Or if you're a business owner, you can join these groups on Facebook, just for example, and barter and trade reviews with other businesses. You give my business a fake Yelp and Google review, and in return, I will give your business fake Yelp and Google reviews. So there's that element too. So there's a variety of ways to get fake reviews. It's very easy, very inexpensive.
How much does it cost if a business was to do this? Does it depend on the content? How much is said? Does it depend on how many words?
Yeah, it depends. I can see Google reviews can go for as inexpensively as 50 cents each, or Yelp Elite reviews, which are reviewers on Yelp that they don't get filtered by Yelp's algorithm. So there is a robust black market for Yelp Elite reviewers. And so those can go for $50 each. And when I first started looking at that issue, Yelp Elites were selling reviews on social media for up to $100 each. So it's, and this is interesting part too. You think that, we're paying a reviewer, someone, to write this review. It would require a lot of time to put that. And what's happening is quite often the businesses themselves provide the texts of the reviews to the review broker or whoever's going to post the review that they want posted. It's provided by the business. They can be very detailed. They even quite often even have photos, which I have seen over and over again. I give examples of that in my videos. So to your question earlier, how can a consumer know what's real or fake? It's very, very difficult because the reviews can be very detailed, include photos. But again, these reviewers, fake reviewers, most often, I would say, are not writing the text of those reviews. It's being provided to them by the business.
Is there one industry that is a particularly bad actor in this where, there are more fake reviews than another industry?
Yeah, I that's a good question. I see a lot, and I think locksmiths, garage door companies, the duct cleaning services, movers, lots of fake reviews in those industries. However, I can say that I have seen fake reviews across every profession you can imagine, and plenty in Arizona as well.
What about clicking on the name of the reviewer? You may have touched on this, but can you expand? Does that reveal anything that, I knew this was a fake review because XYZ? Does clicking on the name of the reviewer do anything?
That's a great question. And because this is something I see on Google, for example, Google allows people to make their profiles private or locked. So if you click on that profile to see, what else has this person reviewed? If you just wanted to do your own research on that Google reviewer, and then you see, oh my goodness, they've reviewed companies from all over the country. There's some inconsistencies. For example, here they say they're retired. Here they're talking about their kids' wagon they just bought. And so Google allows profiles to lock their profiles. And quite often the fakers take full advantage of that. So you as a consumer can't see what else they reviewed. And so that's a red flag. If I see a business with a lot of locked profiles reviewing them on Google, that's a red flag. But on Yelp, for example, you click on the profile and you can see what they've reviewed. But what you'd have to do is, start to aggregate and spend lots of time doing to see what else they reviewed on a spreadsheet, and then other reviewers what they reviewed. And you start to see these suspicious patterns that just aren't believable in the review histories.
Is it illegal to use a fake review or buy a fake review and post it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the FTC is looking at this issue right now, and they're exploring rulemaking for this issue. So this is a very relevant current topic because it's in the news right now. The rulemaking phase is going to be ending at the end of September. And yes, to your question, fake reviews are illegal. They're already illegal, but this new rule that the FTC is exploring will spell out and clarify who's responsible. But I want to mention what the FTC's rule is not doing. It does not hold the tech companies and review platforms themselves accountable. And my research shows over and over again that they do far too little to police the review fraud on their platforms. And you have to remember, too, I think it's good for consumers to remember when they're looking at reviews, how do these companies, these review platforms, make their money? It's the businesses who advertise with them and not the consumers. So there's an inherent conflict of interest here that they're making their money from the businesses. It's not in their interest to call attention to fraud on their platforms because they want you using them. Well, they make money.
You know how critical real reviews are to businesses. I mean, even though there are so many fake reviews out there, we are all kind of trained to do the extra little layer of protection for ourselves to read reviews. I remember way back when, a million years ago, when my husband and I got married, our photographer, our videographer, the person who did my hair, the person who did my makeup, they all said, after we were back from the honeymoon, they reached out and said, "Do you mind leaving me a review? I think we had a really great time at your wedding. We really loved your photos. We really loved how your video turned out. Would you mind sharing your experience?" Because it matters, right?
Right, yeah.
So the real ones matter, and then these fake ones get thrown in there, and then you've got fake product reviews, too. It's not just goods or services, it's the goods, too.
Yeah.
I've done stories about the brushing scams where people are getting loads and loads of stuff delivered to their house that they didn't order. And it's also some random company can create a tracking number and post a review that goes with one of their junky products. And then it looks like it's a really great product because so many people have purchased it and so many people have left reviews.
Wow. How clever. I mean, do those companies have to be to go to that extent? I mean, it's pretty smart on their part, but I mean. Yeah,
I talked with one couple. They got like dozens of packages, all random things. It's like dog toenail clippers and like a weird like black dress and a lampshade and like just all kinds of random things.
Yeah, that's weird. Hey, Kay, we talked a little bit about Yelp and Google. Amazon, very popular for purchasing things, products. Is there anything consumers can do when they're on Amazon to help spot a fake review?
I personally have not investigated fake Amazon reviews, product reviews. My focus has been on business reviews. However, the methodology in acquiring fake Amazon reviews is very similar. Huge problem. Just for context, last year, Amazon sued 11,000 administrators of Facebook groups. So that gives you an idea of the context of the problem with the fraud being arranged on Facebook. It was a year ago, I think this month, that Amazon was trying to address this problem. Huge problem with Amazon, fake Amazon reviews. But again, I don't investigate product reviews. Normally, I focus on business reviews.
So tell us about Fake Review Watch. Exactly what does it do? And then when you complete your investigation and expose a business for having fake reviews, do you confront that business? What do you do?
Normally, what I do is I do my investigation. I complete all my research. And what I've started to do is actually I will pitch my story to a reporter so that they can do a story and have a broader microphone to get the information out to a broader audience. And so that's one method. So what I do is, and everyone knows there's fake reviews out there. We all talk about it. We know it's important. Surveys show consumers are using reviews so heavily. So it's a huge issue. But it's very difficult to quantify. How bad is the problem? How many? People don't really know. And so what I found the most compelling, effective way to show the public what's going on is to post videos on my YouTube channel, Fake Review Watch, as case studies. And it works beautifully. It really brings it home. It's like, oh my gosh, an endodontist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, contractors. When you see that this is real, and my library of research, I have over 80 videos now on my YouTube channel. It's very, very compelling when you see case studies as real examples. So that's what I do. I do my investigations, and then I put a video on my YouTube channel. Or what I do now is, because Yelp watches my videos now, and they try to get out in front of stories. And so what I do is I will go to a reporter first, so then that they can go to the tech company and get a on-the-record response about what's going on. For example, I did a video on a contractor in Nevada, and only after the reporter went to Yelp with my investigation, Yelp took down over 200 fake reviews. How is that? What confidence does that give you in Yelp when someone like me, a citizen investigator, using just eyeballs and spreadsheets, no automation, can identify that amount of fraud on a contractor's Yelp page, and Yelp didn't see it until a reporter went to Yelp? And so that's kind of what I do with my research to try to, and again, the overall goal of my channel is to shine on a light on the issue and convince people actually not to use reviews, and also to rally support for more enforcement and legislation. And so in order to do that effectively, I have to actually call out certain businesses to do it effectively.
Do these businesses ever respond to you and say, hey, no, these are real reviews?
No, actually, no. I have not had that happen. And when people do, overwhelmingly, I hear from people every day, businesses and consumers, who are appreciative and supportive of the work I'm doing. A lot of people are fed up with the current situation.
Hey, I was reading one of your recent investigations into, I believe it was an orthodontist here in Arizona, so we won't name names or cities, but what did you find about that orthodontist, and how did you connect the dots that all of his reviews were not on the up and up? They were fake reviews, making him look like a glowing professional.
Yes, and that was actually an endodontist that I did an investigation, and what I saw was that there was a number of medical professionals around the United States receiving Google reviews from the same profiles. And so just simple spreadsheets, when I spend hours and hours and hours plotting data, and you start to see the patterns are not believable. For example, the endodontist in Phoenix has, just for example, because I'd have to go look at my video, 20 reviewers in common with an orthodontist in Wisconsin or a podiatrist in New York. You just start to see these, it's just not believable. So when you have the data on a spreadsheet, it's very, very compelling that those reviews are fake. And it would appear Google would agree, because they removed, oh my goodness, well over 100, 200 reviews for that endodontist. I can't remember. But and this is an interesting point too. And I think when Google removes fake reviews, the reviews disappear with no warning to consumers. So you could be looking at the Google page, for example, this endodontist or contractor that in Arizona that I've documented, or a med spa in Tempe, or a property manager in Phoenix, or, for example, just examples of Arizona businesses that I've seen. If Google has removed fake reviews for them, finally their algorithms catch up, or if the media has gone to them with something, they disappear. No warning could. I mean, would you consider going to an endodontist if you knew Google just removed 150 of their fake reviews? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think most people would pass and want to try someone who is, perhaps ethical. I think if you ask consumers what are three most important things you consider, maybe when you pick a business, it's probably price, competency, and honesty. And if you know that a business is trying to deceive you, you probably will pass and try to find someone else. So Google reviews disappear when the fake reviews, and I think that's something that's a big problem because there's just lack of transparency. Another red flag that you'd ask about, like, for example, if you're looking at Yelp, go down and buried deep on every Yelp page is a category called reviews removed for violating terms of service. It's very difficult to find. Most people don't even know how to read a Yelp page. Quite a bit of scrolling and clicking. And if you see a lot of 5-star reviews removed for violating terms of service, that's a red flag. But again, quite often Yelp will remove lots of fake reviews. I've documented over and over again, and it does not affect the business's star rating. And my point is, who wouldn't want to know that the business they're considering just lost dozens of fake Yelp reviews that's just swept under the rug? And my opinion is that it's not in their interest to call attention to fraud because the businesses pay them.
Yeah.
So these are all, all the fake reviews are good reviews. Can we trust the bad reviews that people leave if we want to go and see, what are the worst experiences people have had with a business or a provider?
That's a great question, because I hear some people say that, well, gee, I don't trust reviews. I only look at the negative reviews to get my information. And I can tell you that negative reviews can also be easily purchased on social media, and I've documented it on my YouTube channel. And so I don't see that as often, the fake negative reviews, but when I do, it really gets my attention. But it's very easy to get fake negative reviews for a competitor, for example. So all of it, there's just, I liken it to like an ocean of disinformation and fakery. And also another, you'd mentioned, after your wedding and people soliciting for reviews, your various vendors that you used. And quite often, if a business is getting fake reviews on one platform, they're often getting fake reviews across a number of platforms. And so when I hear some people say, well, gee, you need to look at reviews on various platforms to get your information, Yelp, Google, Wedding Wire, TripAdvisor, House, or whatever. And quite often, if they're getting fake reviews on one, they're getting fake reviews on others. So I don't even think that's very valuable advice.
Okay, it was a great conversation. Are you a big review person, Susan? I mean, you
Not really.
No.
I mean, like I said, a little bit. I'll read every so often.
Right. But I think this has really kind of opened up a new chapter, so to speak, for consumers, because you can't believe everything you read. And when it comes to these reviews, oh my gosh, this is the best. This is the best veterinarian on the internet. Look how nice things are saying.
Or the very worst.
Or the very worst. Yeah, I mean,
the reviews have taken on such an exaggerated importance. Really, it factors into how you're found.
Yeah.
And so there's this of course, there's this tremendous desire to have reviews if they make or break a business. And so it's a huge issue. And surveys show that I think 90% of people consult reviews when making their decision. So it really matters. And the stakes are very high when you're considering medical professionals or a contractor who's going to come into your home. But I think it all matters. The restaurant, for example, that you choose that may have fake reviews. Well, what about the restaurant who's not faking? So I believe the current situation in the review space rewards cheating, harms businesses and honest and consumers, and erodes business ethics. And so it's a huge issue. And again, the FTC is looking at this issue right now, but unfortunately, they're not they can't hold the tech companies accountable for this problem. But it's a step in the right direction for sure.
Well,
maybe back to the good old word of mouth recommendation.
I was going to say so much for the days of word of mouth. Hey, Kadeen, if people want to find out more about you or your YouTube channel, where do they go? Just kind of throw out some social media accounts or websites.
Yes,
go right ahead.
My website is fakereviewwatch.com. And my library of research where I post case studies is my YouTube channel, Fake Review Watch.
All right. Sounds good. Next time I read a review, you're going to be in the back of my head going, is this fake? Yeah, here we go. It's Kadeen. All right, Kay, thank you so much for being on the On Your Side podcast. Really appreciate it. And thank you again for the insight, okay?
Thanks for the opportunity.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.